What's good? It's your boy Justin. What the fuck you know me as here? Arthur Beterbiev versus Bivol. Yeah, man, let's get right into it. Alright, so for the undercard, we were supposed to get Shakur, but thank fuck we don't got that ugly, motherfucking boring ass son of a bitch. Alright, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because we don't gotta watch this boring ass, ugly, boring motherfucker. But it's a bad thing because, it would make this card bigger, and it's always good for, a big name fighter to have more fights, within the calendar year. But it's mostly good. It's mostly a bad thing for me because it means that there won't be any stalling, any 12-round decisions, because I'm going to be watching the fights probably while I'm at work. Unless if it's one of those Saudi cards that end at around like 6, but it's probably gonna be ending at like 3 or 4 around there. That's what we get mostly, with those types of time zone shits. So if Shakur was fighting, it would be a lot better for your boy, because I'd probably be, by the time the main event would roll around, I'd probably be at my house. But because of this, I don't think I'm gonna be at my house watching this. I'm probably gonna be at fucking work. But for the undercard, obviously, we got Ben Whitaker, we got Sky Nicholson, and can't forget about Chris Eubank Jr. I think all of them are going to be getting the dubs, especially my girl Jack Nicholson. Shout out to her. I'm trying to get at her, even though she's like 30. She doesn't look 30. Alright, let a boy dream, alright? Let a boy dream, man. But yeah, I got all of them winning because they're actually pretty decent fights, but it's meant for them to win. They ain't meant to lose. Now, one fight where there's meant to be a loser, the main event, Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev, or Beterbiev, I don't know how you say it. Beterbiev, whatever. This is a hard fight to pick. This is probably the one that I've been anticipating the most. For me, over the last couple years, this is, in the top 3. This is real good. I think that this is a 50-50 fight. When I think about this fight, I think about, the resumes, for example. The resumes are both actually really good. The only problem is that because of the weight division that they're in, 175, it doesn't create a lot of stars. They don't know how to promote anyone, and neither do they themselves. They don't know how to promote themselves either. The only reason why Bivol even has a name is because he fought Canelo. And the only reason Canelo chose to fight him at 175 instead of someone like Beterbiev, I don't know how you say it, was because, Beterbiev, he has that punch power, and he wasn't going to instantly go to the division and face the guy who's knocked out literally everybody he's ever fought. So, it's just kind of one of those things to where, like, a lot of people don't actually know how good their resumes are, and even in comparison to each other. But I think that in terms of resumes, Beterbiev does have a better resume than Bivol, just because, when you look at the records of the fighters before and after, it's just slightly better. And even at the point where he fought him, like I'm saying, for example, Joe, he's at cruiserweight now, just like a guy like Sudo Ramirez, for example, who I think is the best win on, Bivol's resume, at least recently, not counting Canelo, because Canelo's not a 175er. And, realistically, he should have won that fight. He should have always won that fight. But, like Joe, when Beterbiev fought him, he was coming off of, what was it, like a 5-5 win streak, maybe 4, it was his resurgence, basically. And then, obviously, Beterbiev KO'd him. Whereas Bivol, when he fought him, he was barely coming off of 1 win. Because before that win, he was coming off of a loss. And before that, he was at his very best. So he didn't really fight him when he was at his best. He was barely starting to pick up again and go on another run, as we saw when he went on a 5-5 win streak, and then he fought Beterbiev, like I mentioned. And that's just one example. They've both pretty much fought everybody in the division except for Durrell and Benavidez, who are supposedly, according to Benavidez, in talks, and Benavidez really wants that fight right now. Posted about it on Instagram. We'll talk about that another day and my whole thoughts on that entire situation. But, you know, other than those two, they've fought pretty much everybody in the division. There's no one else left other than those two, which is why this fight is basically 50-50 in my opinion. You know, it could also potentially be one of those things to where we think it's a 50-50 fight, but it ends up not being, you know, kind of like Spence and Crawford, where it was like, oh my God, these are the two best dudes. Like, we need this fight. This is the fight in boxing. You know, because they just cleaned out divisions and stuff. But I think that the way this fight goes, I think Bivol will start to take over because of the fact that, you know, Beterbiev just likes to take minutes off. I don't want to say rounds because he's not like a Gervonta or like Wilder used to do. They, you know, those guys took off rounds, you know, to analyze or whatever. You know, they actually took their time and took, you know, and gave away rounds to their opponents, whereas Beterbiev doesn't do that because sometimes you'll come out guns blazing in the first round. We've seen that, you know, a couple years ago or recently, I forget. But we've seen him, you know, come out first round, you know, guns blazing, you know, instantly throw a big shot. But I think it's just one of those things to where, you know, even if he does that early on, eventually, you know, I think Bivol just has a granite chin and he's got one of those chins to where you won't be able to put him out with, you know, a little bit of being up. You got to really, you know, put it on him like hard. And I do think that Beterbiev can do it straight up. That's my prediction. I think around the 8th or 10th, around 8, 9, 10, he'll end up stopping him against the ropes. I think it'll be a ref stoppage type of TKO. I don't think he'll flatline him or just that he won't be able to get up in time for the 10 count. I don't think we're going to get that. And I think that it's going to take that much time because I think that he'll be giving up minutes. Because let's say around like in 7 rounds, I think Beterbiev gives up around like 4 minutes every time. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I want to say rounds, but I think he takes minutes off of, you know, out of fights where he's just like, all right, let me just, you know, let me maraud a little bit. Let me take a look where's openings, you know, for the next round, etc., etc. That's what that's how I would like to describe his style. You know, he's a bit of a marauder, but he's not, you know, a guy who likes to take rounds off. You know, like I mentioned, like a guy like Tank or Wilder. But I do think, like I said, he ends up stopping him. It would be a real shame if, you know, the age ends up catching up to him because he is, you know, fucking 40. He's 39 years old. Whereas Bivol is 33. I think that this is the best Bivol will ever be. I think this is, you know, his prime. I think this is right at his prime. Like, this is like prime Bivol that we're seeing right now. So like I said in my Joshua prediction, I hope this isn't one of those things to where the age ends up catching up on you, you know, out of nowhere between one fight and the other. That would be a real shame because it would be so sick for somebody to, you know, end off their career on, you know, an undefeated at 100% knockout ratio. That would be fucking legendary. And it would just be a shame to, you know, see a 4-year-old lose because, you know, his ass is 40 fucking years old. But, I mean, that's my prediction. Let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. One of the big things in this fight, though, before I leave y'all, I gotta say the defense is a big factor because we have seen, you know, Beterbiev be touched. Yes, he has a real good chin, but I think that someone like Bivol has an even better chin just because of what we've seen. We've never really seen him be hurt. But we've also never really seen him, you know, against the big punchers like, you know, like Beterbiev, or at least on the level of, you know, like Beterbiev, because he didn't fight those guys. But, like I said, you know, it's just the defense. I'm not saying that Beterbiev doesn't got any defense, because he does, you know. He's not like Deontay Wilder, you know, or like some of these other dudes that be fighting and they have like no defense. You know, because he does have defense, but it's just nobody's got it like Bivol, man. He's got that prime. He's got the best defense in boxing right now. He has the tight guard. You can't split it open. You can't go around it. You know, nobody's been able to figure out how to beat the guard. So we got to see if someone like Beterbiev could do it. I think he could, but I think, you know, the guard and the defense of Bivol is, you know, one of the big factors in his fight, as well as his chin. And I think he does have better stamina, not only because of, you know, Beterbiev's age, but also because of, you know, the way he fights. And they both, you know, they both do have volume, but it's just the way people throw certain things. You know, it ends up sometimes being able to flow, you know, very quickly, kind of like a Dustin Poirier, I want to say. But anyways, I'll leave y'all with that. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye. See y'all later. Hey man, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.